Hello and welcome to the latest episode of It Had to Happen, the People's Podcast. I'm your host, Krystal Karter, and I am really excited to be here. I'm really excited to see you, for you to see you. Whatever. I'm glad to be back. Normally, this podcast is audio only on Spotify. If you are a new listener, I encourage you to go to Spotify and check out some of my earlier episodes. But I'm returning with a little flavor, as you can see, a few angles, because angles matter. Okay, so I'm just excited to be here, excited to bring this podcast back to the forefront. Nobody wants this but me, but I believe that this is a part of like why I was created, to use my voice to share it with people in a way that is meaningful and it ultimately brings them back to God. So I'm excited about today. I'm excited about like this podcast. As you can see, I'm trying to learn things on the fly. So please bear with me. As time progresses, I will get better and better and better. But for now, just deal with me and the kinks. So let's just hop right into it. Let's talk about what our topics are for today, what we'll be discussing. So as I mentioned, I will welcome back to those who are returning listeners, but first time viewers. But also welcome to those who just discovered this channel looking for something a little more, you know what I mean? You're looking for something, you can't quite put your finger on it, but you don't want the gossip, you don't want the mess, you don't want the relationship advice. But you want something that, that inspires you, encourages you, that gets you a little bit excited, that's, culturally relevant. Because here's the thing, I'm not gonna be in my Bible the whole time. I am in this world. I live in it. I experience it just like you do. So, So first thing first, allow me to reintroduce myself. Okay. I am Krystal Karter. As I mentioned, I am a mom. I am a published author. I'm a speaker. I'm a corporate badass. But in the center of all those things, I am a believer in Christ. And I believe that this podcast is an act of obedience. So I look forward to growing with you and learning with you. And hopefully you all take some time to, engage with me. I do not like to use social media, I'll be honest. Actually, I still have my Instagram and my TikTok and my Facebook, but I don't use them as often because that is time I could be learning a new craft, like learning how to use this particular tool, or spending time in the Word, spending time with my child, being an active, present parent to the people, or even just a present friend to the folks that I'm around. So, being a believer is at the core of who I am, but I also have other roles just like you, right? I'm also a cleaning lady, but it looked like I forgot something back there. But it's all good. Just flow with me. I'm trying to find the right angles, the right things. That's a gist of who I am. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, stick around. I promise you'll love it. Now that I've introduced myself, let's talk about what to expect from this podcast. The first thing you can expect is a little bit of consistency. I know with the last podcast, I was going off feelings, right? I didn't feel like doing it, so I wasn't going to do it. Even though I signed up for this and I agreed to this, you can expect a little consistency from me. Ideally, we'll create a pod once or twice a month. I know that doesn't align with consistency, but I'm still trying to figure out what cadence of creation works for all the things that I mentioned that I am in the previous slide. So bear with me on that. Also, you can expect music pairings. So one thing I love about the pod when it was specifically just on Spotify is before Spotify would let me attach music to my pod episode. So if, let's say I had a domestic violence episode, and if I'm not mistaken, the song that I chose to pair with that one was Love is Blind by Eve. It was perfect because I was talking to a professional who worked in DV response and also a person who had experienced DV. So the song pairing was chef's kiss, right? So I am hoping to keep that going, although I don't have any copyrights to the songs that I want to use. I do look forward to pairing each episode with the song. So ideally after you're finished listening to this episode and I tell you what the music pairing is, you go listen to it and vibe out and kind of reflect on some of the things that you heard. Another thing you can expect is a segment called My Two Cents. I listen to podcast episodes. I'm not one of those creators who doesn't consume. I actually consume podcasts. I listen to Funky Dineva. I listen to Joe Budden. I catch Cam Newton every now and again. And yeah, I catch clips of, what is that lady name? She talks to Jackie Hill a lot. She be in her Bible. You know what I'm talking about. B. Simone, old friend. Her. I catch clips of her. I catch clips of some relationship advice or podcast. Not that I'm looking for advice. I'm just always interested to see or to hear other people's perspectives. So with that in mind, you will catch every now and again me adding my 2 cents. Like in the Joe Budden podcast before Mona came on, I was like, yo, I'm the girl that's supposed to be sitting there like that. That is my environment, being around the guys, kicking the shit, like that's me. So you just look forward to me adding my 2 cents into some of the podcasts that I listen to, because I am their consumer, and in my mind I'm their other host. One more. I've been doing some interviews. Like I that's one of the things that I miss the most, is having conversations with people and learning from their experiences, learning things that I did not know before. Like when I spoke to a lady about DV, like she had some light on how to address people, how to think about people who are in those situations, or the defund the police guy that I spoke to. Like there's one person that I'm looking forward to having a conversation with. And if you know anybody, if you're watching this and you know anybody, please reach out to me via the email in my bio. But I'm looking forward to having a conversation with white parents who decide to adopt Black children. It's called transracial adoption. I'm looking forward to having a conversation about that. It's something that I want to understand. I know how it makes me feel, but I actually want to understand people, and I know that not everybody has the same motivations, right? But I at least want to have at least one conversation with someone who has decided to transracially adopt, and really understand like what their thoughts are, how they stay connected. If they're watching This Is Us, like what I just want to know more. So interviews like that, look forward to having those conversations and connecting with the people. One thing that I wanted this podcast to always do is to be a platform where people can come and share their stories, share their testimonies. I'm from Mississippi, and that old church, honey, that I used to go to, we absolutely used to do testimonies, and they would last so long. Oh my God. Like as kids, we would get so annoyed that Miss Jenkins gonna stand up every Sunday and she gonna tell a story that was similar to the last story she told. But the church doesn't do that anymore. And I think I would love for this podcast to be a platform that allows people to say, hey, not just sit in front of their phones and say, this is what I experienced. We have a meaningful conversation, a meaningful dialogue where they can share their testimony and help others to see how God is showing up, so that we can be on the lookout. Because if he did it over here, he could do it over here. Okay. And last but not least, you can expect new segments. As I mentioned, I'm kind of getting back in the groove of things. I'm learning again. I'm learning new skills, and ideas will come to me. So I look forward to discovering new segments with you and sharing them with you as they come along. Okay. So before I get out of here, I do want to share a couple of things, like pod shout outs. I gave out, all the pods that I listen to. Go and check them out. They are great creators. Honestly, Funky Dineva and Joe Budden are my top 2, which are really, as a believer, look, I got my Jesus piece on. Check them out. As a believer, you would be like, you wouldn't expect me to be the one listening to such worldly content, but they're still our brothers and sisters in Christ. They're human. I'm human. I just dropped a couple curse words, not intentionally. They just flow because that's just how I speak. That doesn't mean I love God any less. Now, I did recently learn about idle words, and I've been trying to use less idle words, but I'm not perfect, and I'm actively trying. So whatever. Anyway, one thing I want to talk about today, or I get into it the next episode, is how God meets you where you are. I just had a really interesting experience this week, y'all, where I'm having to, even with this podcast, recording this now, I am recording to see how things look and how it flow, but it may be good enough to keep. But my instructions have been to wait. Just wait. And waiting, while it feels very idle and it feels very unproductive, that's the word I want to use. Waiting feels unproductive, but it's actually very active. And I learned this from God meeting me where I was, and I'll tell you exactly where I was on the next episode. It is going to like blow your mind. It's still blowing mine because I'm in the process of going through what came the output of that of where God met me. So it is, yeah, top 10 Chef's Kids. Can't miss it. Tune in next week to learn more about where God met me, how he dealt with me, and how I was sitting in that place with just ugly crying because I couldn't believe that I was having this experience. And even now, having had that experience and thinking about, where I was this time last week and how I was feeling after that experience, I'm so happy. I'm happy enough to record. Like that's how I'm content enough. I'm feeling good enough to record. That's just how amazing it is. So I look forward to sharing that with you on the next episode. And before we get out of here, I do want to share the music pairing for today. So here's the music pairing for today. Because I am coming back in this like I never left. It could be Nipsey. It could absolutely be Nipsey just for that line alone. But for today, because of the moment that we're having, today's pairing is going to be Jay-Z, public service announcement. Why did I blank? Jay-Z public service announcement, because allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is